Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and take a look at this headline from the Crypto Basic. Ex-Ethereum advisor agrees XRP could surpass $100 as it has no ceiling. And so as we go through this article and cover the comments from this particular individual, I'll just tell you here at the outset, I broadly agree with this. And also I want to say, I'll be happy for the Bitcoiners out there who are happy with their 4x or 5x returns. But, from where we're at now, or even the upper $20,000 region. But that will just look cute compared to the returns that XRP ultimately provides. That's what I believe. And don't forget, XRP was the #1 performing cryptocurrency for the market cycle that peaked in late 2017 with returns for XRP of about 80,000%. So don't be surprised when XRP puts Bitcoin returns to shame. Now, that said, I do want to point out, and we as a broader crypto community have been talking about this, and there's tremendous truth to this. The hype surrounding approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF is very, very real. Most people don't understand how big of a deal this is. And here's the thing, though, not just for Bitcoin, but for the entire asset class. I firmly believe that XRP will benefit more from a spot Bitcoin ETF than Bitcoin will benefit from a Bitcoin ETF. It's going to be better for XRP because it's going to put more money in the space, and XRP will have this tremendous multiplier effect. So even if fewer dollars go into XRP, in terms of percentage gains, ain't going to matter. XRP will substantially outperform Bitcoin, and many people will become XRP millionaires. And even if most holders don't become XRP millionaires, because most people that invest in most assets don't become, they don't hit millionaire status just because of the one thing. The point is, the opportunity is there. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so into this first piece. Steven Narioff, an early advisor for Ethereum and a notable member of the XRP community, recently contributed to the discussion about XRP attaining double and triple-digit dollar values in the future. In a recent tweet, an XRP enthusiast sought Narioff's view concerning the future of XRP. He asked about the possibility of XRP reaching the lofty heights of $10 or even $100. And folks, I've stated many times that those price levels, although I don't make price predictions, those do not seem remotely wacky or unreasonable to me. Well, especially 10, obviously. But even if you're talking about 3-digit XRP, not that I'm convinced that it's probable this will occur the next time XRP enters price discovery after hitting a new all-time high finally. I don't find that to be the most probable, but the idea of it eventually getting to that level, that is not crazy land. No way to know for sure it's going to happen, but that seems completely plausible. There's way more than enough money on the planet that can flow into the crypto space, and specifically XRP, to get the price bid up to that level. Absolutely. There's no reason that XRP couldn't at some point have a multi-trillion-dollar market cap. I remember stating when I jumped into crypto over half a decade ago that there will be individual coins with multi-trillion-dollar market caps. Perhaps some coins will have market caps in the tens of trillions, maybe. And I'm talking in terms of purchasing power in today's dollars. Obviously, with inflation, you're going to probably see that anyway. But I'm saying in terms of today's purchasing power. That would not surprise me in the least. There's almost no money in the crypto asset class. And so if XRP continues to get adopted, and especially as the asset class evolves and we enter a more mature phase of what it is to have this crypto asset class, yeah. Why wouldn't money flow to where the actual value is? Which is to say that, the cryptocurrencies that are solving real-world problems. That doesn't sound wacky in the least. Anyway, Narioff acknowledged that offering a straightforward response to such a question is complex, yet he provided an overview of his thoughts. And so here's what prompted this. There's an XRP community member named Selective Detective who wrote to Steven and said, "Do you think XRP has a bright future?" And by bright future, I mean, can it get above $10, possibly up to $100? I'd take your opinion on this over anyone's currently. And here's what Steven had to say. I believe XRP has no ceiling if they achieve their objectives. It's not a simple response, but it'll give a high-level take. Usually, a lower XRP price would make their offering more attractive. However, Ripple is clearly the odds I'm sorry, I read that weird. However, Ripple is clearly the odds-on favorite to win in a network effects model. Once this is achieved, XRP must be used, and at that point, I don't see a ceiling on the price. Now, folks, you know what this makes me think of instantly, and I'm sure it probably hit a lot of you the same way. Remember hashtag XRP the standard? And that's still, people still use that sometimes, but I remember seeing that in 2017, and I made the point back then, because there's a reason that people started talking like that, and that hashtag is a real thing. It's because standards matter to people. Once XRP gets used for various purposes, and it becomes the standard for those use cases, and it's adopted, it becomes easiest to use that. It's hard to supplant a standard in life, no matter what that standard is. You need something that is an order of magnitude better in order to have a standard supplant it. And until you achieve that, something that is marginally better isn't going to replace it. And so here you have XRP, one of the first cryptocurrencies ever. It's now been around for over a decade. It's got the adoption, it's got the track record, it's got the liquidity. It's a go-to crypto specifically for payment applications, and there's a need for that. Absolutely, it just works. It's blazing fast. Transactions are so cheap they might as well be free. It uses almost no energy. There are all these perks, so it's perfect for payments applications here. So yeah, once that's in place, and even if you're just he's talking about Ripple here. So even if you're talking about XRP as a bridge currency, yeah, once it's in place, it just is. Good luck supplanting that. And so if you're a new person jumping into crypto and you know that it must be used for that use case and it's become the standard, if you want to invest in crypto, might you put some dollars into XRP, anticipating that, yeah, it's probably not going to go away. I think the answer for a lot of people absolutely will be yes, and supply and demand plays out and the price goes higher. That's one impact of this. And so I think that it's not just Ripple that's ultimately going to drive the price of XRP. And honestly, to this point, Ripple's not driving the price of XRP. XRP follows Bitcoin. But even if you're talking about a more mature asset class where utility sufficiently matters, Ripple's one developer. And so in terms of having a healthy, a vibrant ecosystem for XRP, where there's all sorts of use cases, all of those factor into the price of XRP ultimately. That's what actually matters. Anyway, then Stephen continues. He says, look at the US dollar, which has network effects and is the standard that must be used in countless instances. There is clearly no ceiling on the price of the dollar as it gets massively depreciated, but price becomes irrelevant, overshadowed by its required necessity. And so there, folks, he's stating, of course, obviously, as the United States dollar gets debased and inflation is what it is, it's still the standard. Not that the dollar can't get, and this is me speaking now, not that the dollar can't be supplanted, but it is, in today's world, a necessity. And so once something is a standard, again, it's hard to supplant it. And then he says, come to think of it, could XRP take the reserve currency role in part or whole? Interesting concept. Wonder if that had anything to do with Ripple being viciously and unfairly targeted. Probably just a conspiracy theory that so many powerful entities would go to such lengths to unjustly do everything they can to slow Brad Garlinghouse and company down, as they knew they couldn't be caught with their favorite alternatives. Note that I don't own XRP or Ether right now, so nobody can say I'm doing this for any ulterior motives other than justice and radical change to a more fair and transparent system. And then he tagged me with a bunch of other individuals in the space. So, as far as the idea of XRP as a reserve currency, I've said many times, dating back to the beginning days of my channel, that the idea of a cryptocurrency or multiple cryptocurrencies as a global reserve or reserve currencies makes sense. So again, the dollar actually, like standards, can become supplanted. Again, like I said, it's just difficult for that to happen. But yes, it actually could, and it could be XRP. I'm not going to predict that. There are so many different cryptocurrencies out there, and it's too early on. I won't predict that XRP plays a part of that role, but it is plausible, and I've been saying that the whole time I've been running this channel because I believe that. In fact, given how debased fiat currencies always end up getting, why wouldn't you have something that can't be debased become a global reserve that's jurisdictionless, where there isn't some sort of nation that benefits most from it being adopted as the reserve? Why wouldn't that ultimately happen, especially as the dollar becomes weaker and weaker? Why wouldn't that unfold? So that's completely plausible. And so then the idea of one of the oldest cryptocurrencies out there playing a major role in that, that's totally plausible. I just think it's less likely if you have a whale the size of Ripple right now holding almost half the supply. I do think it's less plausible. Now, I'm to mind you, I don't care that Ripple holds as much as they do. I don't care. I'm just saying if I'm a nation state, and you know, I want to get away from the United States dollar and have a new global reserve, I probably don't want to jump over to something that can be, it could be in theory price manipulated so much. And again, you know me, I'm Mr. Pro XRP. I'm just saying if I'm a nation now, me as an XRP holder, I understood that from the beginning that Ripple could do bad things and they could start dumping on us, and I just take that risk. And okay, I'm one person, but if you're talking about the economic viability of a nation, I don't suppose that a nation is as likely to take that on as I am, for myself holding XRP, because I understand that's technically a risk. I just don't care. I don't believe that it's in Ripple's best interest to start dumping on the market crazily every time XRP comes out of escrow, just sell the whole thing. I don't think that that's likely to occur. But if you're a nation and your existence is on the line, whereas my existence wouldn't be on the line, just my financial well-being, I don't think that that's likely. Now, as more and more XRP gets out into the wild, I think it's more plausible to suppose that it would be on the table, because there's always going to be whales with any asset, whether it's Bitcoin or ETH or pick your coin. There's always going to be whales out there. There's United States dollar whales, So that in and of itself isn't going to stop. It's just when you're talking about to this degree, I just have a hard time believing that a nation would actually be like, yeah, XRP is the one. Even though from a technological perspective, it's fantastic for payments, I still have a hard time believing that until Ripple holds less of it. But that may be okay, because I don't know how long it's going to take. If a cryptocurrency or many cryptocurrencies end up becoming a global reserve or reserves, or they take that role, that might happen over a span of decades anyway. And then Ripple's holdings are going to be, they understand, they're going to be reducing their holdings over that type of time span. So it's not crazy to think that it could happen. And when you're talking about XRP hitting triple digits or more, it's not crazy. I do broadly agree with what's being stated there. And so talk about what's happening here in the short term here. I wanted to highlight this briefly. Bitcoin to repeat gold's 475% post-ETF rally. Bitwise's Matt Hugan says approval will unleash new capital wave. The chief investment officer at the largest crypto index fund manager in the US is very optimistic about what a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund approval could do for the King Crypto's price. Matt Hugan, CIO of Bitwise, draws a comparison to what happened to gold's price after the precious metal secured its first ETF in the US in 2004, suggesting something similar could happen to Bitcoin. Quote, people ask me what happened when the first gold ETF launched in the United States, end quote. And he shared this chart right here showing first US gold ETF right there with that line. And you can see, and it might be hard to see on your screen right here, but you can see just right on up to the upside. Bitwise is one of numerous companies that has submitted a spot Bitcoin ETF application to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. In a recent interview with Thinking Crypto, Hugan said that Bitwise is focused on educating traditional finance stakeholders about Bitcoin. And he said, quote, the thing to think about with the Bitcoin ETF, why it matters, is it unlocks this other segment of the market that essentially has no allocation to crypto, which is the financial advisor marketplace. Now, this is an important market. It's at least twice and maybe 4 times as big as self-directed retail investors. So the people who own crypto now are mostly self-directed retail investors. The financial advisor marketplace controls between 2x and 4x as many assets. So folks, think about that. Just pause and think about this. What they're talking about here is, because that is the state of that particular segment of the market. You're talking about people coming in and selling the particular asset. So in this case, in the world of crypto, selling an asset, Bitcoin, which I hold, many of you out there listening, if not most of you, hold at least some of it, right? And then that'll just make the whole crypto pie bigger. And there will be other ETFs ultimately. I won't be surprised to see an XRP spot ETF at some point in the future also. But anyway, then he says, and so what we're doing every day with a 20-plus person sales team is having meetings with these advisors, talking to them about what Bitcoin is, talking to them about where it fits in their portfolio, and laying the groundwork for when that ETF launches for them to adopt it readily. We're seeing real traction. There are a lot of advisors who want to allocate ahead of the Bitcoin ETF, end quote. And so there you go. It's one more piece of the puzzle, one more thing you can look at that should instill confidence, I would think, right? A lot of confidence. These people are ready to sell this thing which we hold, and it's going to make an entirely, substantially larger crypto pie, which is why I said at the outset of the video, even though you're talking about the money flowing into a Bitcoin ETF and not an XRP ETF, with the crypto pie getting bigger as a result of this, and there being less money in XRP, you'll get a much greater multiplier effect for XRP because of the spot Bitcoin ETF. Which is kind of awesome, right? Like, I firmly believe that to be the case. Why wouldn't it be? An insane amount of money is going to flow in because of the spot Bitcoin ETF. It's not the same as when Bitcoin futures got approved in late 2017. Yeah, that caused a little bit of hype in the market, and cool, it seemingly is more adoption, yeah. But the spot Bitcoin ETF is on a whole different level because, in this case, actual Bitcoin has to be held by the firm that offers the ETF. With Bitcoin futures, that's not the case. There is no underlying Bitcoin. Those transactions are not settled in Bitcoin. But here with the spot Bitcoin ETF, yes, it's backed by actual Bitcoin. So the supply and demand dynamics are absolutely at play. That's gigantic. So then everybody else that, say even the segment that does have Coinbase accounts and other exchange accounts, they now have less Bitcoin available to purchase because it can't be on those exchanges because the fund managers have it now for their customers who are purchasing the ETF on the New York Stock Exchange. That's incredible. That's going to make it a way bigger crypto pie. I'm here for it, man. So yes, the idea of XRP in 3 digits, not crazy. In fact, if it's around for decades from now in the future, it kind of surprised me if it doesn't hit that. If it's truly going to be one of the long-term players. And to this point, it looks like it's going to be. So unless something changes, but, it could take a while, but it's not wacky. I understood that it sounded impossible for Bitcoin when it was $1. The idea of it actually hitting $70,000 puts you in Looney Tunes land. But hey, you know what? That happened. It's possible. There's definitely enough money on the planet to get XRP bid up to those prices, and we are here first. XRP will create, already has created a number of millionaires, and it's going to create way more millionaires and multimillionaires in the future. So I'm thrilled to be here. I'm just going to keep waiting, but this is the world we live in. It's an incredible reality, which is why I always say we don't need the nonsense hype and the conspiracies to fuel excitement in the XRP community. Reality is more than sufficiently exciting. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.